This is RHM for RHM movie reviews. For this one, this is start off to Tim Burton and my Halloween movies, or movies you should be watching during the month of October, or you'll most likely see them on different cable channels. First off is the first four movies are going to be my Tim Burton movies, because I realized that after movies of his that I own that you would usually watch during Halloween, and movies that are based on books. There was only going to be one Tim Burton movie I had left, and that was it. And I thought, well, might as well do them all. Almost all of them. There is one that he produced that I own called James and Giant Peach, which I will talk about in a later episode when it's movies based on books. First Tim Burton movie, and this one is based, I didn't realize this was based on a book called This is Big Fish. It has an amazing cast. Hugh Grant does play a young version of Albert Finney's character in the movie. And believe it or not, if you watch the beginning of the movie when you're watching Albert Finney's character in the beginning, Edward Bloom in the beginning of the movie, you're seeing him as a kid, you will see a very young Miley Cyrus. At the time, she was going by her birth name called, I think it was Hope Cyrus. And I thought that was very interesting. You barely notice her, but when you see certain scenes, you can tell it's her. This is how she got her start before she got so well known for playing Hannah Montana. Now, this next one is actually one of many Tim Burton Johnny Depp collaborations. So, I do not own all of them. I only own very few of them. The two I own I'll talk about is actually the only two I own, because I don't own any other Tim Burton Johnny Depp movies. In case you're wondering, after Crybaby came out, his first musical, he then went on to do his first Tim Burton movie called Edward Scissorhands. So, get ready, and here we go. First one is Sleepy Hollow. Now I don't know if this is actually based on a story or not. Yeah, it's based on a story, and if you know anything, Disney had done a very short version of the story, and there is a nod to it in the movie. I swear it is so funny. Tim Burton, if you're watching this, you did an excellent job paying a small tribute to Disney, the Disney version. And as I said, it's a good cast. It is scary. Of course, most Tim Burton movies are scary. And the next two are his stop motion animation movies. The first one, Nightmare Before Christmas. Now you can either watch this during the month of October because it has Halloween in it, or you can watch it in November or December because it has a Christmas theme to it. It has Christmas in it too. I say that's up to you because it has an amazing cast. And of course, it says Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, but he didn't direct it, he only produced it. I actually did get to meet the speaking voice of Jack Skellington. As I said, no, I guess I haven't said, I got to meet Chris Sarandon. And he was a very interesting person. I showed him my book called Burton. I did have him sign the picture of Jack Skellington that's in the book. And it was so very nice to meet him, Chris. If you're watching this, I did notice you did look a little gaunt in the face. You looked like you were sick. I hope you're not, because I actually think you're a great actor. Moving on to the movie Tim Burton actually directed, and he co-directed this movie, Corpse Bride. Now, his good friend from when he worked at Disney actually produced this movie. When I talked about my Disney Pixar, and while I was talking about Disney Pixar movies, there were not that many movies Joe Ranft. I'm sorry, I put down Grant, I meant Ranft. A lot of movies he either produced. There were only 3 movies he had a part in before his passing, before he died in that plane crash, or a car crash. I forgot which is. Corpse Bride is one of the movies he produced. Cars was the one he directed and produced, and he also had a small role in it. This movie, I don't think he has a role in it, but he did produce it. Now on to actual movies you can actually watch during the month of October, because the month of October is the month of Halloween. Now the first one, I do own another movie where Nicole Kidman does play a witch, and that's Practical Magic. It is a very good movie. It is very funny. Her on-screen sister in that movie is Sandra Bullock, and I gotta say that movie is so great. And I think both of them do a wonderful job in it. But the two Nicole Kidman movies where she plays a witch, this one's my favorite. I like her in this one because there's a nod to the television series in this movie. It's not based on the TV series, but it gives a nod to the TV series, because obviously in the movie they're supposed to be remaking the television series. And it's so funny. I know just before Big Little Lies premiered, well, the first season premiered anyway, Reese Witherspoon, her co-star in Nicole Kidman's co-star in Big Little Lies, asked, "Oh, what's your favorite Nicole Kidman movie?" And I said Bewitched. And it is my favorite Nicole Kidman movie because I think she does a great job. She's extremely funny. She proves, and I have seen her do dramas. It's just this proves she can be funny, so hilarious, going up against Will Ferrell. And I think she did an excellent job. Now the next movies are actually based on stories. Now supposedly Dracula Untold is supposed to be a fact-based version of the Dracula story. I don't think it's necessarily true, but it is a take on Dracula. It's how Vlad became Dracula, but he had to drink the blood of another vampire to become Dracula, which I found very interesting. It is very good, and yes, Dominic Cooper, who's played heroes before and after this movie came out, actually does play a villain in this, and he is good. He is good as a villain. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to call back to my movie series based on book series. So, if the Trill series ever becomes a movie series, he should be considered for the role of Orin, because he can play a villain very well. Alright, next one is, alright, you've heard the story before, but this is a scarier, more adult version of the tale, called Hansel and Gretel, witch hunters. Now, they do give the original tale its due in the movie in the beginning, but it also shows what happened afterwards, like when they grow up. And if you may notice, one of the bad witches in the movie, is Famke Jensen. Don't be shocked. This would be the second or third time she's played a villain, because she played a female villain in Pierce Brosnan's first Bond movie called GoldenEye, which, oh god, her character was so messed up. And she also played, I think it was a double agent in the movie version of I Spy, which is actually pretty good. Alright. Next one, as I said, these are movies that are based on old fairy tales. Now, Jack and the Beanstalk is an old tale, but this takes it to a whole nother level. It's called Jack and the Giant Slayer. And one of the villains in the movie is Stanley Tucci. He is the human villain. Otherwise, the first giant you hear. I think, he's voiced by Bill Nye. And I think almost everybody knows Bill Nye more as the guy who can play villains. Now, the next one is actually based on Marvel comic, and it's Big Hero 6. This is not a Marvel movie. It would not be considered part of the MCU, but it is a Marvel movie nonetheless. Now, whether or not Marvel decides to consider this part of their MCU, it's up to them, because Stan Lee does do a cameo. Little spoiler, it's in the end of the movie. It's not placed within the movie. That would have been interesting. And Stan Lee does a great job in the movie for the cameo, but otherwise it has a great cast. Everybody does excellent voice-over work. And just so you're wondering, when I get to one of the last movies I'll talk about is Scary Movie, for the Halloween type movies you can watch during October. The nephew of the guys behind the first 4 scary movies, or first 2 scary movies, does a voice in Big Hero 6. I'm not saying who, because his dad's not even in Scary Movie franchise, as far as I know. So hopefully you'll watch it and figure out, alright, who's the nephew and what's his name? Or who is he related to in the scary movies? And I can tell you, tell by the last name. The last name is a big hint on who it is. Alright, now to technically go alphabetical. Alright, starting with 2 James Cameron movies, but this is actually Alita. It's an amazing cast, but this is the first time you will ever see probably the only time. I really do hope it's not the only time you'll have James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez working together. It is an amazing cast, and yes, Christoph Waltz is playing a good guy this time around. Because I know of many of you who actually watch Quentin Tarantino movies know he's played a villain or a villain's bad guy in some way. Yes, he plays a good guy in this. And it's, if I can pronounce the guy's name correctly, sorry, I had to check the name. Mahershala Ali, he does a good job at villain type, and the same thing with Jennifer Connelly in the movie. It's a villain type. They're not necessarily the villains, because the villain in the movie is hidden behind these people. All right, the next one. Yes, and we gotta wait 2 more years. It's not 1 more year for the this first sequel to this to come out. But we gotta wait 2 years. Yes, I know it's sad, but we gotta wait. Avatar is so cool. Yes, James Cameron does a good job, and unfortunately, like his other movies beforehand, the movie was nominated for MTV Movie Awards and yet lost all of them. Actually, I think it was only nominated for 2 and lost both. Or it may have just been nominated for Best One and lost. That's sad but true, but it's his movies. They lose MTV Movie Awards. Now, this movie is not Ballistic X vs. Sever. I think it's supposed to be based on a comic book of some kind. But I don't know, because I've never heard of course, I don't read comic books, so. It has an amazing cast, and it's an underground movie. You actually have to look for the movie. It may not show up on TV. It may or may not show up on TV in October or this month. But it's very good. And I know everybody likes playing board games like this, like Clue. They show all 3 possible endings in this. I think there's a special feature on this where you actually get a feature on this movie on the DVD. I don't know if it's on the Blu-ray, but you actually get to pick one of the endings. But yeah, an amazing cast. It is based on the board game. And it's very interesting. Now, that'll be it for now. And in the next episode, I will try to remember to actually not talk about the movies that much. So, this is RHM for RHM Movie Review signing off.